there seems to usually be something to this idea of the end of the year rally. What do you make of it? Does it matter to you?
Yeah, what's interesting is, the saying is kind of telling you that, Santa, has some sort of crystal ball and it tells you something about next year. From my looking at it, it really doesn't tell you much about next year. It doesn't have a very good track record of foretelling the future, like most of us. But the one thing it does do, when you take a look at this period of kind of Christmas Eve until January 5th here, we have oddly high returns during that point. About 75% of the time we're up, which is a very large hit ratio, and we're up about 1.3% on average since all the way back to since 1969. So it has a long track record. Obviously, does not work every year, but there's something, I think, to the good cheer that you tend to have at least some tailwinds during this period.
Yeah, hey, if I knew, Bill, that something was going to happen 75% of the time, right? Like the Steelers always cover against the Bengals. Oh, wait a minute. If I knew something was going to happen 75% of the time, that's pretty doggone good odds. So if we get it this year, does it tell you anything about 2021, or is it just kind of a nice cherry on top to what's been a great market year, but pretty much a terrible year in every other way?
I'll put it as, it's a cherry on top of the year, but it doesn't really, at least from anything I've looked at, tell you anything about what next year brings. So enjoy the presents in this year. We all deserve them. Hopefully we'll get them here. And I always say, unfortunately, we may have unwrapped our presents early from the market, but I still think, again, like you said, 75% hit ratio, there's a good chance you at least get some positive move during this period.
Wall Street strategists have been tripping over themselves to produce higher and higher numbers for the end of 2021. Most estimates for the S&P 500, Bill, are around, anywhere from 3,900 to, I think, 4,600, basically like 10 to 25% gains next year. Almost everybody seems bullish on equities. Are you?
I mean, I am in the longer term because, this hurts to say, but it's kind of the TINA, right? There is no, substitute for this. Like, there's no alternative because yields are so low. They're highly likely to stay very low, even if they creep up somewhat, which, frankly, you would expect if the economy continues to put itself back together. But, again, it's hard to find a place where you can find some sort of returns. That isn't very comforting sometimes. But then I'll also be a little more positive in the sense that there are areas of the market that are not expensive. There are areas that are rightly expensive because they've done very well during this pandemic. There are areas like the pharmaceuticals that are, you can have a big drug company for 13 times earnings with a big dividend on it. You can do the banks at close to book value. I think, there are pockets of opportunity.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.